Welcome to A Spot of Poetry, featuring outstanding poetry written by outstanding poets. I'm your host, Joe Pizzo. Tonight's featured poet is actually one of the modern era's most notable novelists. Our poet was born on February 9th, 1944, in Eatonton, Georgia, to her father, Willie Lee, and her mother, Minnie Lou. They were sharecroppers, and they were poor. In fact, the mother had to find work as a maid so she could supplement her husband's income from farming. There were 8 children to support, and money was extremely tight. Our poet's mother enrolled her child in first grade. At the time, sharecroppers' children were not thought to need an education, especially if their skin was dark. By age 8, however, our poet began to display a talent for writing stories. At 8 years old, our poet was playing with 2 brothers when a BB gun was shot and a pellet hit and blinded our poet's right eye. A whitish scar was visible, and that was an embarrassing burden that our poet carried along every day. The scar led to bullying and name-calling, forcing our poet to become withdrawn. Reading and writing replaced playing with the other children. Later in life, our poet told Jim O'Brien in an interview, "For a long time, I thought I was very ugly and disfigured." When the scar tissue was removed from our poet's eye at age 14, a new world of opportunity seemed to arise. In fact, our poet became the class valedictorian and was voted most popular in high school. The scar suffered from many bullying incidents remained, however, and they inspired our poet to begin to question society's manner of looking at beauty, gender, skin color, and even social class. This attitude was indeed frowned upon by the so-called polite society. Our poet received a scholarship to attend Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, but soon transferred to Sarah Lawrence College in New York. After a study abroad program in Africa, our poet published a short story in the same year of college graduation, 1965. This social worker, teacher, and lecturer found another passion, working as a civil rights advocate. Our poet was indeed honored for the literary works produced. A Pulitzer Prize and a National Book Award were earned along with the O. Henry Award, the Mahmoud Darwish Literary Prize for Fiction, and the Lenin Ono Peace Award. Our poet's website notes the titles of internationally celebrated writer, poet, and activist, whose books include 7 novels, 4 collections of short stories, 4 children's books, and volumes of essays and poetry. Our poet's first collection of poetry is called Once. However, our poet is more widely known as a writer of short stories, such as Flowers, and novels including The Color Purple. A challenger of traditional mores and practices, our featured poet is Alice Walker. Her poem being featured today is entitled, We Alone. We alone can devalue gold by not caring if it falls or rises in the marketplace. Wherever there is gold, there is a chain, and if your chain is gold, so much the worse for you. Feathers, shells, and C-shaped stones are all as rare. This could be our revolution, to love what is plentiful as much as what's scarce. Thank you for joining me to share We Alone by Alice Walker. I'm looking forward to the next time when we share more outstanding poetry written by outstanding poets. Once again, for A Spot of Poetry, I'm your host, Joe Pizzo. May your day be filled with poetry.